Hi, welcome to another on-demand training for the Carson-Newman University faculty. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Valerie Stevens, and I will be your host in what our topic is, and that is rubrics. Let's see how we do rubrics in Canvas. We'll look at how to add them and then how to use them to grade. Let's begin. So we can, if we want to, build all the rubrics that we need for our course without ever going into an assignment or a discussion or anything. You'll notice along the left-hand side of the course navigation panel, there's a choice for rubrics. And I can just go ahead and build as many rubrics as I want here. And by the way, those can be used in any of my courses. But let's take a look at how I do it on the fly. When I've completed the assignment instructions, then I'm ready to go ahead and put the rubric in. So let's go into an assignment. So I'm going to find my, this one is a group resume assignment where a team is actually going to be working on developing a collaborative resume. This is going to be their icebreaker so they get to know each other a little bit. I've got all of the instructions already here. And this is the important part. You're going to create the rubric after you're done editing. Okay, I'm not in edit mode. I'm actually in finished mode. That's already been saved. Down here in the lower left hand corner, I'm going to select rubric. And what we are presented with is just a blank rubric. There's nothing there. It's ready for you to build. Now, had I previously built those rubrics that I was talking about, or I've had rubrics in other courses, I can go out and find a rubric. So let's take a look at that really quick. You'll see that there's several different courses. I can select a rubric from any one of those courses, or Carson-Newman University as a whole has standard rubrics that can be used by anyone. And if a particular department uses a rubric over and over and over again, you can ask Carson-Newman University Administration at ithelpdesk@cn.edu to build one for you and give us the criteria and also what are the standards for each of those criterias. So let's just go back to creating the rubric. First one we're going to do is title our rubric. So let's call this group assignment. And here we've got the criteria that we're going to be grading or assessing on, and then what are the ratings for that criteria. So something had to be put in here just as a template or a placeholder. So description of criteria is not what we want here. We want to go ahead and edit that. And I'm going to call this one content. And then I want to put a description in so that the student understands what is it that I'm actually looking for as it applies to content. And here I want the details captured, information which tells about the team as a whole, and I can identify some individual characteristics. Okay, because on this particular assignment, there's a section that's totally collaborative. It's a group meshing of different information. And then there's a section where I should be able to identify each student and what section they did. And that way I can tell whether the team member is actually working with it or not. So I'm going to go ahead and update that criteria. Now, I can have as much or as little as I want for ratings. So this is a 100-point assignment. So I want to break down so that my different criteria all add up to the 100 points. So let's take a look and see how that works. I want the total to be 60 points for criteria. I want that to be the most that it can be. So the minute I select 60 here, you'll notice that full marks, if they get 100 on this particular section, they get 60 points. Okay, down to 0 points. And I can leave it at that if I'm going to just put in here good, bad, or enter whatever they're actually getting on that section. I can also add a section in between there, and let's say medium points. And you can put whatever you want to for headings here, but for time's sake, I'm just going to go with this. And here I would give a description on what I consider medium or mediocre in the content. And I'm going to describe then in each section what gives them 100% of this section grade, what gives them the full 60 points. And then here I might put most of the content was detailed. And you get it. I'm not going to go into a lot of explanation here, but just to let you know that you can put in the different what makes this section this section. Okay, now let's go ahead and add a second criteria. I'm going to do that by selecting the plus criterion over here. And I can duplicate this one, and I would do that if it's the same points, but I just want a brand new one. And this one I'm going to call labels. And my description is each section clearly identifies what the team is explaining. Okay, I'm going to create that, and you'll see it defaults back to the 5 points. I'm going to have this section worth 20 points, and again it just goes exactly what we were talking about before. I can add a middle one, or I don't have to. Now here's the thing, I've had several instructors ask how come I can't make these lines exactly go underneath each other. And if you're a little compulsive about making sure things are lined up, this might drive you a little bit crazy, because it goes according to the content that's in the description area on how wide a cell is. So it isn't something you can control by like dragging those lines. I'm not going to add another one right now just for time's sake, but let's do one more criteria. And this one I do want to duplicate, and I want it to be just like the labels because it's also going to be 20 points. This one's going to be mechanics, and I want to make sure that we're clearly spelling and grammar evident. You know, whatever you're going to put there. Okay, so we've got 3 different criteria, and we have 3 different rating systems. Now, if I'm going to free-form comments when assessing the students, let me show you what that looks like. Okay, that doesn't give me the range. I'm just going to freely comment on each of those content areas and then give them a point. And I think probably that makes more sense for this particular rubric, so I'm going to leave it at that. You have some other options here, but let's go ahead and create the rubric. Oh, by the way, we do need to use this rubric for assignment grading if we're going to use it with SpeedGrader. If you're not, you can leave that be and save it, and the student will be able to see a rubric range, but the grade may be different than what the rubric says. But this one I'm going to use for grading, so I'm going to go ahead and make sure I use this rubric for grading and create the rubric. All right, so now we see, let's go back home and select our student view so we can see exactly what the student sees. We'll go down to modules and group resume assignment. And here the student has the assignment and how they're going to be rated on it. And you'll notice that the ratings here are blank because you haven't made comments yet. That's where you're going to leave comments when you're grading. And now let's take a look at how you grade using the rubric. I'm back here in my assignment. We're pretending that our students have submitted. And I'm going to go over here to SpeedGrader. And my test student's the only one that submitted anything. And I can make my comments just like I normally do on any written assignment. If it's a presentation, then you'll need to do all of your comments over here in the assignment comments area, maybe with an attachment, maybe with some voice, or maybe even with a little video talking about what you've done. Okay, we'll notice that we've got the file here and then a place to grade it. But before we put the grade in, let's go ahead and view the rubric. I can't see the whole rubric, so what I want to do is come over here, and when I see the hand, I can click and drag to the left so that my screen is showing the whole rubric. Okay, here I can say what I want to say. And maybe this is something that I'm going to be saying a lot. Okay, I know that maybe this is a standard comment. I can save this comment for reuse so that I can just paste it into another student's rubric area. And let's go ahead and give the points. Same with the labels, and same with the mechanics. We're going to give them the full 20 points for that one. I get the 88 out of 100. And because we selected use this for grading, and that's the real important piece there, when I select save, it now puts the grade in the grade box. If you did not select save for or use this for grading, you'll save it so that the student can see the comments, but then you'll put the grade in separately. I hope you've enjoyed this on-demand training from the Office of Online and Distance Learning at Carson-Newman University. See you next time.